Hey everyone, hopefully you guys are enjoying Monster Hunter in whichever fashion you're choosing to play it as. And today I'm going to go over the latest news that we have for Monster Hunter Wilds, as someone decided to kind of reach out to me and tell me that they actually had updated the official games page. The Capcom originally revealed the Monster Hunter Wilds page, and a couple of new tidbits had kind of become available there. First and foremost, we ended up seeing that finally, for whatever reason, on the page, they have direct confirmation of the consoles that it's going to be available on, at the very least, as of right now. They do mention, of course, PlayStation 5, Series X, Series S, and Steam coming in 2025. Now, this is, of course, something that we got to see in the post-launch trailer after the original reveal, which consoles it was coming to, but it's interesting that they decided to provide that information on the website almost a week or so later afterwards. I think this has been up for almost a week by now, so it's interesting that they decided to do that. The thing that I found more interesting, though, was the fact that they now have wish list pages on both Steam and PlayStation. Interestingly enough, the Xbox store does not have a Monster Hunter Wilds page yet, and it does make me kind of wonder about something which I'm going to get to in a little bit. But ultimately, there's brand new pages now for the game, both on Steam and the PlayStation Store. They do provide us with some new details, and I certainly wanted to go over them as well. But the first thing that I do want to quickly tackle is that on the Steam page in Japan, actually, and this is something that a couple of Japanese users brought up to the pretty much community at all, and kind of in attention, was the fact that the Steam page in Japan doesn't necessarily mention that the game will be in Japanese for whatever reason. It does mention that there will be post-launch DLC adding languages for whatever real reason, but it doesn't necessarily mention all the languages that are available. And it does say that Japanese is clearly not supported because all of the text is in English for whatever reason. But a lot of users were wondering just what the heck is going on with that. Obviously, the game has to release in Japanese, but then there's also that text that mentions that post-launch DLC will include language packs as well, which, first and foremost, as post-launch DLC, which of course is kind of like a given. We expected that, but interestingly enough, they are mentioning it during their Steam page reveal, and then that, of course, is going to be coming for other languages as well. At the very least, that's the first confirmation of post-launch support, will be multiple languages. Now, as far as the English Steam pages are concerned, nothing out of the ordinary. There's no prices, there's no release date, there's no real major reveals there that we haven't necessarily seen, not even new screenshots. All of the screenshots that are there are the stuff that I've already kind of covered in multiple videos already. So the actual text and information that they provided, though, does mention that the hunt of Monster Hunter, the hunt is on in Monster Hunter Wilds, the latest installment in the Monster Hunter series, now in development. Experience the pinnacle of excellence in the hunting action gameplay, planned to release in 2025. Now, I have seen a couple of people make a big deal out of the fact that they mentioned that this is the latest installment in the Monster Hunter series, essentially confirming that yes, this is indeed Generation 6. For whatever reason, some people just decided to still hold on that this was not a new generation for whatever reason. I guess they didn't take a closer look at the logo, which clearly showcases the 6 monsters, the 2 big snakes, but also 4 smaller dragons. Presumably, those are going to be elder dragons of some type, and the 2 big snakes that you see. One of them is actually way bigger than the other one. So you would imagine they are going to try to do a Narwa situation again. Most likely one of them is going to be the dominant one. The other one is maybe slightly submissive, maybe gets eaten in the end for the name of love to power up his mate. Something along those lines wouldn't necessarily surprise the Monster Hunter community. But of course, if you have taken a closer look at the logo, you would already know that this is the 6 generations, because you have 6 monsters being detailed on the actual logo itself. So you pretty much have direct confirmation that yes, indeed, this is the 6th generation. And for whatever reason, some people were still hoping that it was the 5th one, which doesn't necessarily make sense. When you take a closer look at the rest of the page on Steam, they just simply say planned release date 2025. English is of course supported. Action game Capcom Monster Hunter release 2025. Nothing really there that we haven't necessarily seen. They do mention in the English page as well that supported languages and other details to be announced at a later date. So this is a little bit of a different wording that we do get to see on the Japanese page, where they straight up just mention no Japanese support for whatever reason. Other than that, of course, there's the events page, which basically just covers the original reveal, and that's about it. The PlayStation page showcases even less, interestingly enough, because these are just placeholders. They're not supposed to be the pages that you're going to be able to see once you fully go out and decide to buy the game digitally or anything like that. Presumably by that point, these pages will be publicated with more details, of course, more screenshots, the actual trailers for the game, running on actual consoles, and anything along those lines. Capcom has plenty of time to be able to do that, so no rush here, but it does seem rather interesting that they decided to put these pages up. You do see them go up on Steam relatively often for games that are not going to be coming out anytime soon, but I think PlayStation started to do this with like Wolverine as well. I believe there's a page for Wolverine up, and that game isn't coming out till like 2026 or something like that. So, or at the very least, based on all of the Insomniac leaks, it would lead you to believe that it's coming out really, really far off. Maybe even because of the leaks themselves, they're going to delay some things, rework some things, and ultimately that game does come out a little bit later than expected, but certainly I wouldn't expect it even 2024, much less 2025. So yeah, as far as page listings go, these are about as vanilla as it's gonna get. We shouldn't necessarily be expecting any major updates happening as of right now. Remember that the next big point that we can expect to see more information on Wilds most likely will be next summer, when E3 used to be. Now they have the Jeff whatever nonsense summer of boring that they do, which presumably will end up getting a brand new trailer by that point. I would hope, and I say this very honestly, I would hope that we get some information before then. Obviously, there's a couple of developer interviews and stuff like that I'm still working on translating. There's a couple of articles as well that I kind of want to target, where some new information has been detailed. But the stuff with the page store listings was something that a lot of people wanted me to talk about, so I certainly wanted to address it. And of course, the whole situation with the logo, which I found really interesting. I saw a lot of people taking the rings out of context, meaning that they were just like, detailing other things when they're clearly meant to be monsters and stuff like that. So we'll just have to wait and see just what form do these big snakes take. They are fascinating to say the least, but obviously I'm just gonna have to wait and see for them to actually make an actual full big reveal and showcase some of these flagships. I really, really do hope that those 4 Elder Dragons, just because they look similar, they are actually somewhat differently. Instead of just elements, they actually do different battles different ways, because having 4 essential dragons that are similar wouldn't be all that much fun, which is why the Fated 4 was so different. Remember, they had dinosaurs, they had elephants, they had actual dinosaurs, and then they had wild flying dragons. So a lot of fun when they did that, and hopefully they can vary these guys up a little bit so they don't necessarily seem to be the same. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today regarding Monster Hunter Wilds. If you are brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.